instituting a strategy that I'm calling our ACT strategy, Advance, Clarify, and Transform. So advance meaning modernization of our approach. So rather than fending off new innovative types of technologies, we're embracing them. And
if you hold XRP, don't go anywhere. Stay to the end because we're about to deep dive right now at a set of videos that nobody's watching. Nobody's pointing at these. Nobody's saying, guys, look here. Everybody's over there looking at the war, the Strait of Hormuz, the oil prices, but nobody's looking at what Bretton Woods Committee, the IMF, they've gotten together and they're having a conversation. Let's go take a look at it. You guys tell me what this sounds like to you, because I know what it sounds like to me. Let's go. I don't even know where to begin. There's so much conversations being had. Maybe I'll start here. Let's see. This is directly from the IMF's YouTube channel. Just so you guys see, this says 203K subscribers. This is the IMF right there. That's their YouTube channel. The video is called Stablecoins and Future of Payments. Evidence from the financial markets. This was just dropped 2 days ago. Today's date is 4/20/2026. I'm not going to play this whole thing. We're just going to listen to some of it so you guys can take a look at what Alexander Kopsteg, the economist and of the research department of IMF, is talking about here.
Payment technologies. You want to buy a good and someone wants to sell it to you. You need a way to pay them. For most of history, we used physical tokens for that purpose, like coins and banknotes. You hand the token to the merchant, they hand you the good, and the transaction is complete. In the 1950s, we started paying with plastic. You swipe or tap the card, and the transaction.
What he's eventually going to get to is he's just going to start saying, like, guys, we should. Why are we still? Why aren't we using this technology yet? Why aren't we paying with stable coins? What are we doing here? Let me get towards the end so you can see that that's basically what he says.
Firms, proportionally, it's even larger. So what have we learned about the future of payments? First, financial market participants do expect stablecoins to play an important role, a sufficiently important role to move the stock prices of these major existing incumbents. Secondly, those incumbents could face a substantial increase in competition, especially in cross-border payments, even if at the same time there are some benefits to end users. And finally, incumbents with network effects, or those that engage early with the technology, might be relatively insulated. Now, there's lots more detail in the paper. For now, I'll stop there and look forward to your questions. Thank you.
In 2025, they dropped this paper, the departmental paper. It's called Understanding Stablecoins. Very interesting. This is the IMF, by the way. Then in March 20th in 2026, they dropped the Stablecoins and the Future of Payments, Evidence from the Financial Markets, which is what we were just talking about right now. Look at the conversations they're having during a time of crisis, during the time of war. Then April 2nd, 2026, just a few days from the recording of this video, they dropped the Tokenized Finance IMF series notes right here. Look what the IMF, International Monetary Fund, is talking about during times of war. And what's interesting about this is the Bretton Woods, who basically created the IMF, this was all put together during the last time there was a world war, World War II. And what's more interesting about that to me is it's happening again. So when people tell me, investing in crypto is risky. I mean, when you do the research and see what they're talking about, I mean, it's not even what they're talking about, it's what they're moving towards. So when you look at the tools that are going to help facilitate the movement or that are going to help tokenize a lot of these assets, I mean, am I wrong for looking at the tools and thinking that these prices are actually possibly not that bad? Like we're looking at the price of the technology before it's even in use. Right now, XRP is traded at $1.42. Like, and this is speculative trading right now. This is not even an asset that's currently being used. We haven't even seen this asset actually being utilized yet. That's what I'm trying to get at. But there's more. Let me show you guys what else I got for us because I was doing some more digging. Look at this. If your favorite crypto YouTubers disappear tomorrow, would you know what to do next? If the answer to that question is no, well, friend, I've got to point you over to PB Academy, because the 65 short, sweet, and concise lessons inside of the 9 modules contain tools that teach you how to read the market yourself. So your financial understanding never depends on whether someone else decides to upload or not. When this video is done, I don't want you to walk, I want you to run to pastorblackwood.com so you can see it for yourself. Now let's get back to the video. So this next video is from the Bretton Woods Committee's YouTube page, which only has 1.77k subscribers, by the way. This is the part that shows me nobody's watching this stuff. This was posted 4 days ago. It only has 959 views. And look at the stuff they're talking about. Just take a listen.
Lead to frictions, perhaps capital barriers, or is this something that the fund is well aware of? And
we are well aware, and there is actually a lot of work going on the interoperability of different directions countries take. I cannot guarantee we would achieve it, but I can guarantee you there is a lot of work on mapping. We are going to have more briefings on how the US is approaching stablecoins, because stablecoins, 98% are US dollar-based stablecoins. So that's a dominance for now of the US. We have been engaging with the countries that choose a different paths of payment systems, regional payment systems. And of course, what we want is not to say, no, you have to all go one way, but to make sure that there is interoperability, that these different systems can talk with each other.
To make sure that these different systems can talk with each other. You guys heard that? This came from...
They can function across a board. And again, the more time we have to spend on fighting the urgent crisis, the less time we spend on the important, very important long-term transformative matters.
yes.
Very important long-form transformative matters. So when someone asks me, I think crypto is risky, man, what other tool is there out there that you think they're going to use in order to solve that issue of interoperability between different payment systems around the world? Show me. There's only a few cryptocurrency assets, companies, people working on this. Could be the Solanas of the world. Some people argue it's Chainlink. Some people argue it's XRP. You know, some people argue it's Bitcoin. Like, I mean, you could throw a dart at these choices and almost get it right. You understand what I'm saying? Like, if you're not invested in cryptocurrency in these times or taking a look at it, I'm not a trader, by the way. I like investing for the long term. I'm a long-term holder, and I do some swing trades. None of this is financial advice. None of it is financial advice. But you're looking at someone who is taking full-fledged advantage of what is happening, of the changes that are being brought on, and they're talking to us about it. They're talking to me and you about it. Are you paying attention? Let's look at more. Hold on, I'm not done. This video specifically, I want to play to you is by Apex Consult, NFA. Shout out this guy. I think he explains what I'm talking about here way better than me. So let's just take a little listen to how he says it, what he's talking about right here, what he's saying.
Know that right now they're literally redoing banks. They talk about the CPMI. Know that right now they're literally redoing a new Bretton Woods. This is Bretton Woods 3. And I do explain that in other deep dives in more detail. Right here, it's talking about how the G20 is really behind this commitment to modernize the payment system and help with cross-border payments. So in this document, like I said, they talk about a unified ledger, the Finternet, Project Agora. They talk about unified ledger concepts, shared ledgers, and they talk about creating a new FMI, a new financial markets infrastructure. They also talk about how the BIS, that's the central banks for all central banks, and the International Monetary Fund, and the World Bank those three should come together and work on this new Finternet unified ledger, cross-border payments, fixing this issue. So it's all the same players. It's everything I've been showing in my deep dives. Committe on Payments and Markets Infrastructure, which is the BM, which is coming from the BIS, the central banks for all central banks. They talk about the CPMI, which we see that Ripple is the only blockchain company on the steering committee for cross-border payments for the CPMI, the Committe on Payments Markets Infrastructure. the Financial Stability Board, which is the most powerful regulator in the world. It's the right arm of the BIS. So that's the Bank for International Settlements. Central banks are all central banks. The Financial Stability Board, that's the right arm, the BIS. It's all right here. That's what they're seeing here. And their goal is to literally make cross-border payments more efficient. So those are the players behind Ripple.
I just showed you the video from the Bretton Woods Committee's YouTube channel themselves talking about this. We got our friend Apex Crypto Insights talking about this. I don't know what to say. If you're not watching crypto in these times, that's a risky move. Before I go completely, always got to show you guys the PB Academy website. This is for people that are new to these markets, new to this infrastructure, new to understanding all the changes that are happening in our world on the financial side of things. There's some free resources here. My favorite place to point people is towards the story of money. If you are very well versed in this sector of what's going on in the world, this is a perfect place to send a family member so they understand what the history of money, where it began, where it all started, and where it's all going, why the dollar is losing its value, why we're going through everything we're going through. It is all tied in. It's all happening for one reason. And that is, in my opinion, this is not financial advice. This is all to bring in, and they say this part too. They also say it's to bring in a new world order through new payment infrastructure.
So I think more and more policymakers are now publicly stating that the world order that we've been used to for the last 80 years is gone. And it's not clear what's going to replace it. I feel like most think tanks that I'm aware of or involved with are working on various projects to try to figure out what the next chapter looks like for the world.
You guys go on ahead, take a look at this website, get the help that you need from it. If you like this style of content, my name is Pastor Blackwood. I'm more than happy to continue bringing you this type of insights on digital assets and on what the big players in as far as like the people that make rules for money are talking about. Hit that like button if you appreciated this. Share it far and wide to someone that you love so that they understand what you and I see. And for now, I don't know what to tell you guys. I appreciate you guys for watching. I am out.